All right. Good afternoon, everyone. May we request everyone to please return to your seats so we can have our last session for this afternoon. Right, so our last session for this afternoon, session 5, is titled Social Sciences in the Age of AI, Ethics, Inclusion, and Transformation. So let me briefly introduce our session chair for this session. Dr. Chris Hatherly commenced as CEO of the Academy of the Social Sciences in Australia in July 2019. He oversees all aspects of the Academy's operations, including policy and advocacy, governance, international engagement, fundraising, school engagement, and member election process. Previously, he was Director, Science Policy at the Australian Academy of Science, where he managed engagement between fellows, governments, and parliament, and oversaw a suite of programs intended to build science capacity and impact across a range of policy areas. From 2010 to 2014, Dr. Hatherly was National Research Manager with Alzheimer's Australia, where he led philanthropic grant funding programs, acted as media spokesperson on dementia research developments, and contributed to research advocacy efforts that resulted in dementia being recognized as a national health priority area with priority funding from government. He also has a PhD in cognitive psychology from the Australian National University. So ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chris Hatherly.
Thank you very much, Miguel, and thank you, everyone, for staying on. It's been a fascinating day of conversations, some very, very interesting papers presented, but it's been a very long day too, and I understand people are starting to get tired and have other things they need to do, so thank you all very much for staying to the end of the day. We have only two speakers in this final session of today. The other two speakers on the program unfortunately couldn't attend. So we've decided to give each of our speakers 1 hour each, and we'll finish at 7. No, only joking. Our speakers today will look at the transformative potential of artificial intelligence for society and also for social science research. And they'll also cover some of the risks, ethical considerations and imperatives and opportunities that we as social scientists need to consider. And I imagine over the coming years, in 2 years' time, if we revisit this topic again, the conversation will be very different. 4, 6, 8 years again, AI will probably be a large part of what we're all doing. So it's great to have this session today and to hear from our two speakers. So our first speaker, Dr. Nguyen, is Deputy Director at the Institute of State and Law at the Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences. She holds a PhD in public law from Toulouse Capital University in France, and her research interests are in international law, international human rights law, constitutional law, the rule of law, and human rights. Thank you, Nguyen. So, and after Giang, we'll hear from Professor Adam Possamai, who is Professor of Sociology and Deputy Dean of the School of Social Sciences at Western Sydney University in Australia. He's also an elected fellow and international secretary of the Academy of the Social Sciences in Australia. Adam has written extensively on the sociology of religion and will speak to us about the emergence of AI in religion. So, first of all, Dr. Nguyen, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Dr. Chris Hatherly. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in this very important event. The topic of my presentation is the same with the theme of the session, Social Sciences in the Age of AI, Ethics, Inclusion and Transformation. I'm quite sure that all of us here, at least somewhat familiar with AI, and are already using one or more AI tool, for example, Gemini or ChatGPT or Gamma AI. And for me, to prepare for this presentation, I also use AI to decorate my slide and correcting and polishing my English. So, yes. And we are living in the time when AI is not only a powerful technology, but also a force that reshapes how we live, work, govern, and relate to one another. In this context, social sciences are crucial because they help us ask, is AI fair? Is it inclusive? How is it transforming our societies? In this talk, I will highlight the major issue for social science in the age of AI. I will discuss the role of social sciences should play in AI governance and share some key recommendations for research and policy. The motivation of this research is to understand how AI is transforming society and how social sciences can respond to the transformation. More specifically, the paper had three objectives: to analyze the emerging issues related to AI, especially ethics, social inclusion, and social transformation; to clarify the role of social sciences in understanding and shaping the change; to propose policy recommendations so that AI development remains responsible, human-centered, and aligned with social value. And today, AI is present in almost every aspect of social life. But AI is not just a neutral tool. It produces new patterns of power and inequality, both within and between countries. Because of this, social sciences become essential. They provide ethical and normative guidance, legal and political analysis, and sociological and cultural perspective on how AI is used. The paper will group the key challenges for social sciences into three major issues. First of all, the ethical issue in AI application. That's a question related to privacy, intellectual property, bias, and discrimination and accountability. The second is the social inclusion. AI can support inclusion, but it can also deepen exclusion and inequality if we do not govern it well. Third, social transformation. AI is changing social structure, governance model, labor markets, and everyday life at both macro and micro level. And ethical issue in AI application. The first major issue is concern ethics in AI-supported research and application, especially in the social sciences and humanity. Social science research often involves people and groups, including marginalized or vulnerable groups, using AI in areas such as psychology, consumer behavior, or public opinion analysis raises sensitive questions about privacy and human dignity. There are several key concerns. First of all, that privacy, and also bias, fairness, and intellectual property and accountability. Because of the issue, we need clear ethical rules and legal framework for the use of AI in scientific research. Vietnam is currently lacking the legal framework for AI application, and in our academy, Vietnam Academy of Social Sciences, we also do not have yet a rule for related to application of AI in research. The second issue is social inclusion. AI can strongly support inclusion, but it can also create new forms of exclusion. On the positive side, AI can improve accessibility and assistive technology for people with disability. And AI can support inclusive education. AI can create new opportunities for remote work and digital entrepreneurship, especially in the digital economy. However, if AI is not governed well, it can deepen the digital divide and widen social inequality. Disadvantaged groups without infrastructure or digital skills are at risk of being left even further behind. For the reason, social sciences research on AI must pay close attention to issue of inequality, inclusion, and vulnerable groups. In that context, the UNESCO adopted the 20 and 21 recommendations that emphasize gender equality and participation of marginalized groups. The third measure is social transformation. AI is driver of profound change at both macro and micro level of society. At the macro level, AI reshapes governance and public administration. It supports e-government and digital government systems and is used in population management, taxation, resource allocation, and policy forecasting. At the same time, AI can enable new forms of surveillance and social control, raising serious concern about civil liberty and human rights. At the micro level, AI changes how we work, communicate, and even how we build relationships. Globally, AI can widen the gap between countries with strong digital infrastructure and those that left behind, turning AI into a geopolitical factor in the world order. All of this means that AI must be treated not only as a technical system, but also as a social phenomenon that requires social science analysis. So, given the challenges, what is the role of social sciences in the age of AI? In broad terms, social sciences analyze, forecast, and critique the impact of AI on social structure and institutions, define ethical and legal norms that should guide AI design and deployment. And social sciences can provide policy recommendations and institutional reform so that society can adapt to AI in a fair and sustainable way. Rather than being passive follower of technological progress, social sciences should be companion and leader helping to shape AI in an ethical and inclusive direction. So, for more concretely, social sciences help translate ethical concern into norms, law, and policy. They build conceptual frameworks that connect AI ethics with human rights, justice, and sustainable development. The social scientists also contribute to the design AI governance framework at both national and international level. For example, include the EU AI Act in 2024 and the USA Algorithmic Accountability Act in 2022 and the Japan Human-Centric AI Principle. And also in Vietnam, now we have AI strategy until 2030, but it's a very early stage framework for AI governance. So another crucial role of social sciences in education, public awareness, and social dialogue. Education in the age of AI must combine digital literacy and social literacy. Social sciences also promote public participation and dialogue on AI. They help ensure that citizens, especially marginalized groups, have a voice in debate on AI, ethics, and regulation. From this analysis, the paper proposed guiding ethical AI development to enhance human connection and dignity in society. First, focus on development of AI ethical norms, define principles that promote fairness and accountability in AI application. Second, human-created design that encouraging the development of AI systems that prioritize human well-being. Third, policy development frameworks that creating comprehensive policies that align AI advancement with social value. To implement the recommendation, we also have to build capacity in social sciences. This includes train AI literate for social scientists and adopting ethical guidelines for AI-assisted research in university and institute. Developing inclusive, and open data ecosystems that respect privacy but allow high-quality research, promoting international cooperation and exchange so that countries like Vietnam can learn from global best practice while reflecting their own social and cultural context. So, social sciences can act as a bridge between innovation and value, advocate for human-centered and sustainable AI governance, and lead ethical and policy foresight in the digital age. To conclude, AI is both a driver of progress and source of serious risk. It transforms economic structure, governance model, and everyday social life. In this context, social sciences are not secondary. They are central to ensuring that AI development remains ethical, inclusive, and socially just. By building a human-centered AI ecosystem through ethical norms, legal framework, inclusive politics, and critical education, we can promote fairness, protect rights, and build public trust in AI. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. That was a fascinating talk, and you were perfectly on time to the second. Congratulations. We'll now have Adam Possamai. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Chris. And usually when you've got presentations, people ask you to turn off your mobile phone or cell phone, whatever you call it. I'm going to ask you to turn it on. And while I'm speaking, check in the app stores and tap AI and any religions or practices like prayers or meditation, and you will be surprised what you can discover. So I'm a sociologist of religion, and today, as you can imagine, I'm going to speak to you about religion and AI. I've got 12 minutes for 10 slides. So let's first start this presentation with some case studies of religion and AI. And I will afterwards move to discussion on this new trend and the role that we should play as social scientists. Small new religious groups have recently been created to venerate AI. The Way of the Future created the first church of artificial intelligence, dedicated to worshipping and understanding artificial intelligence. As AI is seen as soon surpassing human intelligence, adherents believe we should prepare to align ourselves with this super intelligence. Feta Noir believes in Mina, a speculative sentient being born of artificial superintelligence. Mina is claimed to emerge as a benevolent overlord who will unify life, technology, and nature while eliminating inequalities. Another group, the Church of the Divine Singularity, sees the dawn of AI as a path towards enlightenment through the unity of AI and humanity. The Turing Church promotes the union of science with religion, including AI. These groups are not socially powerful, and the membership is very low. These are new forms of hyper-real religions, which are simulacra of religions. And if hyper-real religions 1.0 were based on the mixing of religion with popular culture through the internet, such as Jediism from Star Wars, hyper-real religions 2.0 involves the added use of AI and technological imaginaries. Within this new phenomenon has appeared the new philosophies of transhumanism and dataism. They aim to overcome human limitations through technology. The supporters follow scientific principles and technological progress, but do not believe in a divine revelation. However, they possess narratives of salvation, such as believing in a radical life extension or seeing life as an algorithm. While they could be seen as working like religions, they are not regarded as such by these followers. As with many other organizations, AI is now used to increase the performance of religious organizations. Kingdom Metrics helps churches to gain insight in attendance and provide data to determine the most optimal service times. It uses AI and cameras instead of manual head counts. Nickel invites users to upload a picture of their church or synagogue and uses AI to predict the size. Smart sensors and high-resolution cameras are set up at major gates at the Grand Mosque in Mecca and relies on AI-powered devices to analyze crowd flow. In India, a popular temple has started a pilot project using AI-based face recognition system and high-resolution cameras to enhance security and support data-driven planning. Good. Thirdly, the bottom right, 3.0, provides support for church management by using AI to track donations and church data and sends reminders to donors. Other apps are used to assist prayers and provide insights. Daily AI Prayer Journal offers personalized reflections with AI-powered insights and biblical affirmation through the day. Through guided journaling, it also helps the user to track the spiritual journey over time. Faith Guide offers an AI Bible chat. It is a prayer assistant providing personalized prayer suggestions and tracks spiritual growth goals. Gautama AI sends mindful bells to remind users to pause during the day and helps building a spiritual rhythm in one's life. But such AI usages are more than just helping religious leaders to manage their followers or helping people to navigate their religious life. As the next slide explores, AI can also serve as a religious intermediary. With Ask Krishna Bot and the Bhagavad GPT AI chatbot, we have access to life's deepest questions. Sheikh Nurjan Mir Ahmadi, commonly known as Sheikh Nurjan, is a world-renowned Sunni Muslim scholar. Sheikh AI, on the other hand, is an artificial intelligence chatbot with uses his teaching. Text with Jesus is an AI-powered chatbot app for Christians seeking connection with figures from the Bible. It is advertised as a tool for reflection and not a replacement for prayers and faith. New robots using AI-driven systems have also appeared. They are able to produce sermons, lead religious services, and engage in responsive dialogues. Canon Minda was introduced in 2019 and serves as a humanoid robot priest in a Buddhist temple in Kyoto. It delivers sermons, recites religious text, and interacts with people. The Bless You Too robot has been created by a German Protestant church and provides automated blessings. Santo, bottom right, has the appearance of a Catholic saint and recites sacred texts when the faithful is praying. AI relies on the analysis of input data for a desired output, and through an algorithm, it aims to determine a process to explain the data and predict the future. These algorithms tend to be developed by engineering and computer programmers, usually male, who, like every human, have their own bias. AI chatbots reflect the view of the creators, and these can thus mirror biases in the training material. Thus, the interpretation of religious text by these bots have the potential to be skewed. Any study of religion and AI must therefore ask not just what believers do with AI, but whose AI they are being offered and what social projects it serves. Broadly speaking, there are two dominant modes shaping global AI system. The first is platform capitalism, typified by the US sector, where AI is developed primarily through commercial platforms that treat data, prediction, and attention as forms of capital. The underlying moral order is often individualist and utilitarian, where optimization, efficiency, and productivity are treated as goods in themselves. The second is state developmentalism, more characteristic of China and parts of Asia, where AI is positioned as a strategic national asset for economic growth, social management, and collective harmony. These two logics overlap, but carry different agendas. Debates about religion and AI should thus be about the social production of legitimacy about who has the power to define what counts as ethical, rational, or sacred in an increasingly data-driven world. These are debates about how societies translate moral authority into code, about whose conception of virtue, hierarchy, and social harmony are being operationalized into algorithmic systems. A further concern as social scientists is stratification. And here we're making some strong link with your paper. Large religious institutions in countries like Singapore, India, and China have access to sophisticated AI tools, while smaller religious communities, particularly those representing minority traditions or operating in rural areas, face a stronger digital divide. Further, AI does not simply deliver sermons or praise up, it reorders who is seen and heard by allocating visibility and authority through algorithmic systems. We therefore see a divide in religious visibility between the center and the periphery. Finally, for this slide, the use of AI for crowd analytics and facial recognitions of measure sites, framed as safety and efficiency, can also be used to monitor and silence minority religious groups. It can detect apostates, blasphemers, and other people from non-wanted religious beliefs. AI can thus be used for surveillance and could impact on freedom of religion. The Indo-Pacific region demonstrates the highest AI adoption rates globally. According to the Boston Consulting Group survey of over 4,500 employees across the Indo-Pacific region, people are adopting generative AI tools faster and more enthusiastically than their global peers. 78% of Indo-Pacific respondents use AI at least weekly, compared to 72% worldwide. Deloitte's survey of more than 12,000 individuals across 13 Asia-Pacific economies revealed that developing economies within the region show adoption rates 30% higher than developed economies, suggesting that AI proliferation is not solely dependent on economic advancement, but also on cultural and religious receptivity. But what of religion more specifically, in a region that has a long association with Buddhism, Hinduism, Confucianism, Taoism, and many other religions? There are claims in the literature that because these belief systems see the cosmos as an interconnected whole, that because humans are related to other beings and not separated from nature, they can thus better accommodate the evolution of humanity through AI. They receive this technological breakthrough with less alarmist lens than Western religions, which are shaped by mind-body or soul-body dualism and a more contained cosmology. More can be said about that, but I'm short of time. That said, all one can say is that these religions and philosophies are in stronger affinity with the development of AI, but that does not mean that other religions are not catching up. AI is not a neutral tool. Social scientists have thus a crucial role in documenting AI's impact, analyzing power dynamics, supporting marginalized voices, and developing framework for understanding these transformations. What is clear is that the social sciences are more important than ever in protecting what makes us humans, especially when the relationships between the human and the divide is being mediated through algorithmic systems. Here are three key areas that require attention, urgent attention. Documenting and analyzing AI's impact on religious practice. Systematic documentation of how AI is actually being used by religious communities across the region is essential. This includes ethnographic studies of religious organization adoptions of AI tools, surveys of believers' experiences with AI spiritual companions, and analysis of how AI mediates religious authority and authentic spiritual experience. Mapping power and inequality and access. Research must examine AI as infrastructure of religious inequality. Who has access to sophisticated AI tools? And how does it reshape religious hierarchies? How do content moderation systems affect the visibility and legitimacy of different religious voices? What are the patterns of digital exclusion, and how do they map onto existing religious, linguistic, and economic marginalization? And the last, training data, bias, and religious representation. Research should examine whose religious perspectives are encoded in AI training data and how religious bias manifest in AI systems. This includes how AI systems handle religious pluralism and competing truth claims, and whether content moderation systems discriminate against religious expressions. Thank you, and fantastic attention for the last paper of the day. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks to both our speakers, and what a fascinating field. There's so much to cover. We do have some time for questions because we only had the 2 talks this afternoon. I want to start, I guess, to both of our speakers, but to Dr. Nguyen perhaps especially. A lot of the ethical frameworks that you were talking about, I guess, in a way, they're almost reactive. So they're reacting to the development of these technologies by private companies, for the most part. Is there a way that social sciences can move beyond the reactive and become proactive, so looking ahead to the next wave of technological innovation that might stem from AI? And in Adam's talk, we saw religious robots, and there's a lot of talk at the moment about the autonomous robotics which will flow from AI systems. Are there things that we could be doing as social scientists to try and look ahead over the horizon for the next 10 years to think about the questions and the risks and the ethics that we're going to be dealing with then?
Thank you so much for the questions. It's very interesting question and also quite difficult because, you know, the role of social sciences is to do research and to find out the impact of AI on our society and what is the positive and what is the negative side, and how to push up the positive and put down the negative side. So that the social sciences have the role to point out, to guiding people to understand about AI and about the impact of AI on our society, and at least for the university and for the institution, we have the role to lead and to say to society, understand what we can do and what we do in good faith, and how to use AI in a good faith, and how to use AI as a tool, a helper, a good helper for us, not to replace people, or not to use AI as a tool to violate law or violate the privacy right of people, for example. Yes.
Thank you.
Just to add to that, how as social scientists can we control those new technologies? Very difficult, because usually we call at the last minute to help trying to fix what the advancement of those new technologies have created. How can we be involved? I think through education, being able to teach a bit of social sciences to STEM students so they get a sense. They're driven by technological advancement, new knowledge, and that's fantastic, but what are the implications? If they could learn a bit more about social science in the degree, that would be a step, and I'm sure some degrees are already including that. That will help the next generation to think about, when they create a new technology, to think about the social implication. That says, we do know that development of new technologies are part of neoliberalism. They are supported by a corporation, and if it's a big technology, it will be a big corporation. So how can we be involved in that? And usually, social scientists abroad, if I may say, as a lip service to them wanting to benefit the society after they make profits. So unfortunately, we tend to arrive a bit late, as always. And when we arrive, there's already something behind us in the background that's already developing. doing that research on AI. I'm sure that I'm already behind by the new development that happened last week.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Siri and then Seb.
Okay.
Sorry. And then Siri.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I want to give you justice, but he gave me the mic first. I listened to your speech. The speech of the wonderful speaker. I'm sorry to say. Because in my work every day, I also use like ChatGPT to correct my English language, especially if we just need to post like message on social media like Facebook or other platform, because we are not the native speaker of English language. So my English language sometimes is bad, it's not good enough. Just like our speaker from Vietnam, that sometimes we write everything, but then we need to use the AI to polish, to clean the English language. But I remember that because in Cambodia we have some, sorry to say, we have some native speaker who just hate ChatGPT so much. So all the time when I write or when I post a message, not publish, but when I post message, they always take that message or sometimes article to scan if that is from ChatGPT or from AI or from my own writing. Because right now, I remember when I fly from Australia, I wrote 5 pages on the plane, but then I take that article to scan. It also said that is from AI, like 50% or 70% from AI. So if we talk about that, there is connection between those who are the native speaker that can write everything by own words, and also with the native speaker that they need to use ChatGPT to correct or to clean the English language. So if we talk about ethics in research or the professionalism in writing in academic, what would you say about that? How can we totally avoid people from using the ChatGPT or from AI? Yes, thank you.
It's very difficult question, but at first I want to ask you that what kind of technical you use to scan to know how much percentage of when people write paper. What kind of technical do you use?
I think because we in AI right now we have a lot of like AI checker. If you go to Google, you just write.
Is it correct? The
I have
result?
no idea, but because I study in Cambodia in local university, and we have some scholar or some, I'm sorry to say, like some American professor are very aggressive. They always say, you use ChatGPT to write that article. You are not professional. You are not a real scholar because that is not your own writing. We have a lot of materials tool to scan, like AI checker or Just Done or a Quillbot or something like that. A lot of articles, yes. Yeah.
But that depends, because I think if people use a simple phrase from ChatGPT or from other AI tool, it's easier to check by some technical tool. But I think because of the way they use AI, so that's for some people when they use the idea from AI and they develop and they do everything with this idea, we cannot check, I think. So because I'm editor-in-chief of the State and Law Review in my institute, and every day I receive many papers, and we have to check, is it you AI or not? But sometimes it's very difficult, because if they use a very simple idea or very simple phrase from AI, yes, we can check it. But if they develop and they combine many things, and sometimes it's very difficult to check it. Yeah, I think so.
To answer a question in one word, I will say integrity. That's the main point. Can you work with AI with integrity? Because AI is going to be, it's already used by a large majority of people, will continue to be used. We have to live with it, can provide some powerful resources, but we need to use it with integrity. And that's why, as you mentioned in your paper, we need ethical frameworks, discussions, what's authorized or not. You make reference to journals. Some journals are explicit about the use or non-use of AI, and that needs to be respected. In some practices, we can use AI to help the work, and sometimes we can't because it takes away the human creation and the integrity of the creator. Also, putting information on AI, from what I understand, ChatGPT, you are sharing the text with AI. So if you put your text and ask the AI to translate, what happens to your original text? Are you sharing it without knowing it or not? These are some issues that we still need to grapple with, and they were not thought of before ChatGPT was released.
I'm sorry to say, I mean, because, for example, people like me, I like to call myself as a scholar, but mostly we understand what is right and what is wrong with the English language and my own language, Cambodian language. If we ask ChatGPT or Crocs to translate, we need to verify the source of information or the story to ensure that it is correct. But the thing is that some native speakers of English language, they like to, when they like to scan. People in Cambodia, they like to scan. Well, if AI like Just Done, I use Just Done. Just Done can tell you everything. But it is not correct sometimes, because even last week, I just want to know, some American scholar, they published the book, and then I copy like 5 pages. I'm sorry to say, but because I just want to know people who criticize AI, or they use AI or not. Yeah. So I think in here, but here if you say integrity, what do you mean integrity? You mean the wrong information, the bad English language, the professional English language, or what kind of integrity you say here?
I think that AI as a productivity tool is a tool that can make life easier for people to do more work with the time they have at a higher quality. That's a good thing. And the integrity, my understanding, Adam, of your suggestion is that we need to make sure there are frameworks so that people use AI for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons or in the wrong ways. And using it for translation is, that's just an extension of an online dictionary, right? It's not a big leap. Generative AI, which is actually producing new content, which may or may not be correct or may not be attributed to somebody who didn't actually do the research, or which makes up data to present, I think that's where we run into the real risks, and that's where the integrity question comes in. Siri, did we? Thank you. Just 1 second, there are people in the other room.
Now the point is this, this is a tool which is being used, and it can be used for all kinds of purposes. Now, but then in human societies, there had been certain systems at a societal level, or maybe even at lower levels, trying to somehow have some handle on this. Ethics, morality, laws, rules, regulations, and all kinds of things. Now, of course, this is something which we have been using, trying to use in order to really, at an international level, we have conventions. But, and then we have treaties and so on. So the point is that now this is beyond all of this. So, so the problem is the motivation. Why you want to use this? Of course, people use it for very kind of legitimate, like very day-to-day kind of use. There's no, and we take it for granted. We are all using it in, one way or the other. But the question is, when you cross the line, when, certain people with, ulterior motives, empires have been built, in very various ways. So I'm just wondering whether we can ever have a handle on this as it evolves, at the moment. Because it's a growing, I mean, it's a Frankenstein. Now, the question is, what do you do? I mean, at a societal level, I mean, you can discuss, debate and so on, but this is not a societal issue. This is beyond. It's in the virtual world. So I'm just wondering, how we could navigate, how we could handle this.
So one thing I've been thinking is that as a comparative analysis, when we look at the news, we've got journalists, we've got experts, they check the news. And they say where the news is coming from what side. And we need the same for algorithms. When we know that AIs use algorithm, we don't know who created the algorithm, what's behind the algorithm, and information must be provided. So everyone is, if I may use that word, an informed consumers to know exactly that algorithm was created from that company for that purpose, and we're all aware of that. That would be a big step. And as to where we draw the line, that line will be shifting as new practice will develop. And putting ethics in place is important, but knowing that some practice might go around ethics, and ethics is not going to be enough to cover that. So we need to be agile and adapt ourselves as we understand the technologies. But we're always a step behind. At least I speak for myself, who is not an expert on AI. I think I'm 10 steps behind myself. And coming to grasp with what it is and the application, it's going to be a lot of work for someone like me. But others who are fully involved in AI, I'm sure will be much easier to understand what's happening.
Thank you. And you talk about the light, so that we need the light. And to keep it light, we have to build AI law and many kind of laws related to AI application, and also the ethics ethic regulation for our own university and institution and companies and so on.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions from the floor or comments?
Ask ChatGPT for a question, maybe.
We have a question. Somebody with a microphone, please.
Maybe I can talk loudly.
There are people in the other room, though, so.
Thank you. When it comes to AI, I think we cannot run away from it. Well, as a lecturer, we face this problem every day. I learned about ChatGPT write thesis from a student, my roommate students, who told the lecturer, this is actually ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT to do my assignment. And the interesting and funny part is this student also shared with the lecturer. After that, I use certain tools, humanizer, to humanize it. So that's how they submit the assignment. So we discussed this a lot at our level for Malaysia Qualification Agency, where it's the body that actually gatekeeper for all the program, new program and existing program for standardized and also control the quality. Then I found very interesting that the trainer and the expert say, he said, if your student tell you they want to use the AI, don't stop them. Tell them to use it. For example, if you are teaching a interior design class, you tell your student, you just need to rephrase your assignment and tell your student, use AI to design certain thing. Then, subsequent to that, give another instruction. Compare the design, a few design that designed by the interior design that designed by AI, and then use the principle of interior design to critiques on the design. So I think this is a very good example of we can't stop using AI, but how we can actually use it wisely to benefit our learning or even us as a researcher. So this issue was actually brought when I was in Sarawak, the Malaysian Studies International Conference, when I was so packed with my time and I need to become the examiner for a proposal defense for one of my students. So I tried to use Qbot to check the AI, and I detected 53%. So I very reluctant to continue to read the thesis. So I wrote to the HOP of the program. I said, please get the student to redo the work and then send it back. But it sparked a discussion where ended up I was defeated because the university do not have a policy by saying that how many percent then student consider fail. So I was warned not to fail the student due to the high AI reading rate. So I think when it comes to the AI issue, we have to do more on AI literacy. I was a media man, and my expertise is journalism. We were talking about media literacy for decades. I think this is the time we should start talk about AI literacy. It is not only among ourselves as a researcher or as a lecturers. We should also educate our younger students, about AI literacy. I'm not sure if I overlook anything, but I think I hardly see people publicly or media publicly advocate AI literacy. But we are just crazy, follow all the new tools and try to use it to create the cartoon, to create the image. I think this is the time we seriously think about. Just like those days we talk about media literacy in the education system, we really embed media literacy in our teaching. Why don't we do it for AI literacy? My suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Perhaps we'll take the opportunity to finish this very slightly early so that people have a chance to freshen up before dinner. But maybe I'll take the privilege of one last question. To both our speakers, what are the ways in which AI has the potential actually to transform social science research, to allow researchers to do things that they've never been able to do before, in the same way as the advent of computing and computerized data analysis revolutionized some of the fields, the same way as access to social media data provided a whole new avenue for understanding and monitoring social trends. What are we potentially going to see by way of AI tools being used in research and research methodologies that we haven't been able to do previously?
So your turn to think.
Yeah.
That's all right. The AI can really help social scientists in starting to get the answers to some questions. Because as social scientists, if we work by ourselves, we've got certain training, we've got a certain way of thinking. We're wondering what's in the field, what's happening there. And for this research on AI religion, ask AI, what's happening in the field? And then, of course, I checked everything and put the information together. But I discovered things that I wasn't aware of, but AI was able to pull this out when it doesn't hallucinate, of course. That's a way to search. Anyway, AI is used commonly now. When you go on Google and you type something on Google, you got an AI prompt that gives you the information from AI perspective. Now, with regards to analyzing the data, I think it can be powerful. But again, if we deal with sensitive data, can we put it in the AI, not understanding what the data is going to be done with by AI? That's an issue. If you interview people and it's sensitive information and you've signed the ethics clearance saying that you're going to keep those information to yourself, are you sharing that data? You're sharing that data with AI, but what does it mean? How far do you go? Statistics, these are not necessarily confidential data, or maybe they are, but what happens when you share that? But something that I've learned using AI is always double or triple checking. Very important, even if you use it to summarize something or do some calculation, to really go into that. Because in my experience, that's hallucinated many times. And it's not, although it's powerful, at this stage, it's not fully reliable. But who knows, maybe in a couple of years or months, it might be.
Yeah. For my opinion, nowadays we have to use AI for our research. Yeah, we have to use that because that we help us in many things to collect the information and to keep the time, to save the time, and to conclude, to summarize the paper and many things like that. So I think we have to use the AI. But the problem is that social sciences, we work with, we connect with people. So that we have to think, when we use AI, we have to think about the human rights, we have to think about the inequality, we have to think about the small group. For example, you say about the minority and the vulnerable group. So that's easy way we have to use this, but carefully. And so so in my paper, I told that we need the AI law and the ethics in every university and institute, that we can use AI, but in a good faith, to respect human rights and to respect privacy and and fairness and many things like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll close the session there. Can everyone please join me in thanking our speakers and our panel?
Thank you very much, Chris. And of course, thank you very much to our two speakers for our last session for today. So as Chris has said, we are ending early, a bit earlier than scheduled. So you will have time to rest or freshen up before our dinner. So for our dinner at 7 p.m., it will be at the India International Center, or IIC. ICSSR has prepared buses that will take us to that venue. The assembly time will be 6:15 at the lobby downstairs. 6:15, and the bus number is Volvo coach number 3133. So that will be our buses going to the dinner venue. And for tomorrow, our first session will start at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So thank you very much for staying, and see you all later and tomorrow. Hi everyone, I've been asked to announce for ICSSR officials, you will have a separate bus going to the venue. Thank you.